Having a way of charging your LiPo batteries anywhere and everywhere can be very handy. No longer would the flying fun need to end with the batteries becoming used up. One way is to bring along a lot of charged batteries. Sure, that works, but it is not ideal because LiPos are expensive and they can degrade over time, requiring a replacement. You would also need to discharge the unused batteries for proper storage. The beauty of small RC planes is that they use small capacity batteries. Most of my batteries are around 500 milliamp hours. Hence, it is very feasible to charge these little guys quickly with a portable charger or a power bank. The solution is simple. Instead of plugging your charger into an outlet, you connect it to a battery or a power bank. But what kind of battery? And what do you need to consider to make it all work? Well, there are a few things related to your charger that need to be considered. I happen to use these simple little 2 and 3S chargers. They are compact and inexpensive, and on an aside, I can charge many batteries all at the same time for quicker charging. The important point is that these chargers require an 11 to 14 volt input, so I use a battery that can provide that. For example, a 3S LiPo works. Interestingly, even one this size works. Well, sort of. It will power the charger and charge the other battery, but not for too long and not fully. And that brings me to the other important point, and that is the need to select the right battery size or capacity. So this 1100 milliamp hour LiPo that I have on hand should do the trick, since it has more than twice the capacity compared to the battery being charged. And here is our time lapse of the charging process. The 1100 milliamp hour battery starts off fully charged at 12.6 volts, while the 450 milliamp hour battery is depleted at around 11 volts. After some time, as expected, the 450 milliamp hour battery becomes fully charged, while the 1100 milliamp battery becomes depleted, though it still has a little bit of juice in it. If we want to charge many batteries, then we need a larger capacity battery yet. But how big? Well, let's consider a 10,000 milliamp hour one. We can get a rough estimate of how many batteries it will charge by this formula. Let's say we are charging mainly 500 milliamp hour batteries, then I divide 10,000 by 500 and get 20. But since the charging process is only about 70 or 80% efficient, I then multiply the 20 by 0.7 or 0.8 and get around 15. So that is, one 10,000 milliamp hour battery will allow me to charge about 15 of these 500 milliamp hour LiPos. Not bad, and definitely better than bringing this to the field. If I'm charging larger 1000 milliamp hour batteries, then I get only about 7 or 8 of these charged up on one charge of our 10,000 milliamp hour source battery. Before I get into talking about what power sources can work, there is one more aspect to consider, and that is the electrical current. For example, this charger draws a little over an amp of current. When I hook up 4 of these chargers and charge 4 batteries at the same time, the current draw is about 5 amps. You need a battery or a power bank that can supply not only the necessary voltage but also the current. Both of the voltage and current requirements of a charger should be readily available information on the charger itself, but you can also test it using a multimeter. Okay, so now finally, what are the options for portable power sources? Well, I could have used a LiPo battery. I have shown here that it does work. And this one has the adequate capacity. But I would not and did not use a LiPo. The reason is that they are not happy sitting around for long periods of time being fully charged, or discharged for that matter. They like to be kept at a fairly precise 3.8 volts per cell for a long life. and having a power bank that needs to be consistently and partially charged is not practical. There are a few better options. For example, this power bank could work. The specs mention a 22,000 milliamp hour capacity and a 12-volt output with a maximum current draw of 10 amps. So that all checks out for use with my charger. But not all power banks may be suitable. Many may not deliver the required voltage or power. For example, this one only delivers 3 amps, which may not be enough for certain chargers. I did not try to use a power bank, but if you have, please leave a comment to let us know how it worked out. I ended up using a deep cycle battery instead. The main reason for using it is that I had one lying around. This one provides 12 volts and has a 10 amp hour capacity. It can easily supply 10 amps of current or more, so the specs work well. It is also not fussy when it comes to storage, is very simple to use, and has a long life of 3,000 cycles, or the equivalent of about 10 years of use. This battery was also very easy to hook up, and that is something to think about when selecting a charger and battery. Finding or making a custom cable may be required. On a final note, a mobile charger is likely only practical for smaller capacity, low voltage batteries as is applicable to small sub 250 gram RC planes. While it is possible to charge larger LiPos, for example a 5000 milliamp hour one, the required battery would be rather expensive, heavy, and not exactly portable. I hope that this video charged you up with good information. If you attempt to make a mobile charger, please note that you're doing so at your own risk. Thank you for watching.